Prince Harry has detailed the physical attack by his brother, Prince William, in his new book. Harry writes in the new autobiography Spare that William knocked me to the floor during confrontation in London in 2019. Let's get into it. So you might recall in the Netflix documentary Harry and Meghan, Prince Harry described his brother William screaming at him, and it was terrifying. Now, in his highly anticipated autobiography Spare, Prince Harry recounts what he says was a physical attack by his brother William. Describing a confrontation at his London home in 2019, Harry says William called Meghan difficult, rude, and abrasive, which Harry calls a parroting of the press narrative about his wife. The confrontation escalated, Harry writes, until William grabbed me by the collar, ripping my necklace, and knocked me to the floor. This was exclusively shared by The Guardian. It is not clear, despite the heavy security, how extract of this book leaked out, but the extraordinary scene which Harry says resulted in visible injury to his back is one of many in Spare, which will be published worldwide next week and is likely to spark a serious furore for the British royal family. The book's title comes from an old saying in royal and aristocratic circles that a first son is an heir to titles, power, and fortune, and a second is therefore a spare should anything happen to the first son. Spare is a remarkable volume in which the altercation between the two princes forms a startling passage. Harry writes that William wanted to talk about the whole rolling catastrophe of their relationship and struggles with the press. But when William arrived at Nottingham Cottage, where Harry was then living in the grounds of Kensington Palace and known as Notcourt, he was, Harry says, already piping hot. After William complained about Meghan, Harry writes, Harry told him he was repeating the press narrative and he expected better. But William, Harry says, was not being rational, leading to the two men shouting over each other. Harry then accused his brother of acting like an heir, unable to understand why his younger brother was not content to be a spare. Insults were exchanged before William claimed he was trying to help. Harry said, "Are you serious? Help me? Sorry, is that what you call this? Helping me?" That comment, Harry says, angered his brother, who swore while stepping towards him. Now scared, Harry writes, he went to the kitchen, his furious brother following. Harry writes that he gave his brother a glass of water and said, "Willie, I can't speak to you when you're like this." He writes, he set down the water, called me another name, then came at me. It all happened so fast, so very fast. He grabbed me by the collar, ripping my necklace, and he knocked me to the floor. I landed on the dog's ball, which cracked under my back, the pieces cutting into me. I lay there for a moment, dazed, then got to my feet and told him to get out. Harry writes that William urged him to hit back, citing fights they had as children. Harry says he refused to do so. William left. Harry says then returned, looking regretful, and apologized. When William left again, his brother writes, he turned and called back, "You don't need to tell Meg about this. You mean that you attacked me? I didn't attack you." Harry says he didn't immediately tell his wife, but did call his therapist. When Meghan later noticed scrapes and bruises on his back, and he therefore told her of the attack, Harry says she wasn't that surprised and wasn't all that angry. She was terribly sad. Harry's resentment of being the spare is the unifying theme of this book, through chapters on his childhood, his schooling, his career as a royal and in the British Army, his relationship with his parents and brother, and his life with Meghan through courtship, wedding, and marriage, to their own experience of parenthood. Earlier on, Harry recounts the story of his father, now King Charles, supposedly said to his wife, Princess Diana, on the day of Harry's birth, "Wonderful. Now you've given me an heir and a spare. My work is done." Whether describing his memories and love for Diana, who was killed in a car crash in Paris in August 1997, or his similar love for his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, who died last year, Harry is unsparing in his recounting of intensely private scenes and conversations. Harry met Meghan in 2016. They married at Windsor Castle in 2018 as Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They began life as working royals but quickly drifted apart from the family and eventually embarked on a largely separate existence, moving to Canada and then California. Their acrimonious split from the royal family has been the subject of endless press coverage, some of it steered themselves, including via a famous interview which they did with Oprah Winfrey in 2021 that caused huge controversy on both sides of the Atlantic and around the world. Subjects from that interview and also the recently released Netflix documentary, including a miscarriage suffered by Meghan and her thoughts of suicide and suggestions of racism within royal circles, are covered extensively in Harry's book. The book has been trailed, and 2 interviews with Harry are due to be broadcast in the UK and US this weekend, with ITV News at 10 and CBS 60 Minutes. Both interviews are eagerly awaited. Trailers and teasers reported on as news as speculation about what Harry has chosen to say in his book continues. In a clip from the interview, Harry said, "I would like to get my father back. I would like to have my brother back." But as we get to see the details become more and more explosive, and from the look of things, the royal rift will not be ending anytime soon. Remember, on Netflix, Harry and Meghan, they did share that Kate and William are not such haggers. That is from Meghan's account, and in fact, she did not expect the formality that happens on the outside and in the public still continues on the inside. You might also recall that there was a moment in the series where Harry received a text message from his brother, Prince William. We don't get to see the details or what the message is about, but the actions after clearly shows that the message was not good at all, as we get to see Meghan getting up and giving him a hug. The look on their faces shows that it was not a good text. One of Harry's most pertinent revelations of private conversations between the senior royals comes from the very front of his book Spare. Harry recounts an anguished meeting with Charles and William after the Windsor Castle funeral of Prince Philip, the Queen's husband, in April 2021. Charles, he says, stood between the warring sons, looking up at our flushed faces. "Please, boys," Harry quotes his father saying, "don't make my final years a misery." Well, at this rate, we can honestly say that these final years do not look good at all. I will continue to follow this story for you guys, and in case of any updates as to what is being said in the book, also what will be said in the interviews, definitely I'll bring it right here. So make sure you have subscribed, turned your notification bell so you will be the first to be notified once those uploads are up. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.